Yes, my people, I had to adjust this here. Very serious. It's about your thieving politicians. And when I say thieving politicians, I'm not just adjusting like a few of them. Everyone who take part in these colonial colonies that is referred to as government are all committing genocide against the people. I'm including all civil servants, politicians, judges, magistrates, all of them. But the issue is I'm going to highlight some specific points about what your politician does when they sell you out. Now in 2009, SVG, the corporation, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, your prime minister, did nothing. United Nations bill, he was kicked out. Then he come back from 2010 and he paid his bill. So he get back to join. And what do you think he's paying for? He's paying the extortionist not to extort him. So he literally a sellout puppet. Okay? And all of the people who take part in these colonies. Because these colonies came from the slave master. And if they come into your land and they build a colony and they give it up and tell you that you're independent, they should go with the colony. If they didn't go with the colony, then you're still a fucking slave. And you're still under the birth certificate fraud that was created to chattel all the slaves. Okay? You're called chattel property. Just like chattel, where you got goat and sheep, they call chattel. And that's your stocks to make money. Well, the same, they chatify the human being under the birth certificate fraud. It's called chattel. So when they create the birth certificate fraud in 1492, well, after they start legalizing slavery and sending different slave owners, people to different islands to capture the Aboriginal people and take their land, how do you think they had to take your land? They had to create a corporation. And when they create a corporation, they had to create a birth certificate. Now, in those days, the individual slave owners would give the last name to the slaves. That's how the slaves had all these names like Solin, Cummins, Haynes. That's why you got a group of people named that, because you were all owned by one slave master. So you would carry the slave master name. So you would know that these slaves belong to me. And that's where the birth certificate was issued. It never changed. All they did was transfer it and change it to the state, the artificial corporation that is called a state, that your politicians and your magistrate, judges, security forces uphold and enforce. They're literally committing genocide against you. And the reason why you're not awakened is because you're so dumb and you're so pig-headed that you don't listen to us and you don't listen to the truth and you can't even acknowledge because you don't think critically. You're in a box and you're programmed, okay? You don't need them, you don't need nothing from them. Everything that these people have claiming that they own is all off of my ancestors. Land, resources, everything. Even the so-called creation that they claim they create in the form of technological creation, whether it's the electricity, whether it's a gunpowder for who makes the first bullet, whether it's the solar panel, natural electricity, or the river converting the natural current from water, all was designed from our Aboriginal descendants, all the intelligent, intellectual, melanated beings like we. So there is nothing that these systems have that they totally created, but it's beyond the point. The issue that I'm drawing for you people is the lack of knowledge that my people have and the way they leave themselves vulnerable and would not listen to us and call us crazy when we stand up and speak for rights. Now I decide that after learning certain facts and evidence that I will not take part in genocide against my ancestors, otherwise I'll be guilty just like them. So I did denunciation of citizenship, declaration of identity, and come out of the corporate state called SVG. You know, and start to declare my rights. Traveling my convoy without a license because I do not need these things. This is my island. And on the treaty tell them that they have no right selling or buying the land and they have to pay Aboriginal people tax. Yet, they don't obey the treaty. Second of all, the Constitution, section 13, subsection 4, subsection 1, tell them that people who is not citizens are not subject to pay public funds or public revenue. People who is not citizens means Aboriginal people. I confront them, I beat them up in the case. Twice, they come back illegally because the dumb citizens who has no knowledge about themselves come out and tell them the indigenous man is here driving without license. So they want to put up a front. So they send the police illegal again after me. Go to beat them up in the court. They kidnap me, seize my documents, wouldn't allow me to speak. You know, denying me my rights, freedom of expression. not a violation of the Constitution itself. Okay? Violating my rights all the way. Trying to use a strong name to denationalize me, to create fraud. So they realize the only thing they could do is try to send me to a psychiatric institution and use the psychiatric method to see if they could subdue me or force me under their subjection, which they fail. But they try to force me in some plea bargain, which I didn't do no plea bargain lawfully. It's illegally done. Okay? It's all fraud, committing fraud and genocide. Okay? Legally, me and my tribe that I created is free people, and we are not a part of the state. But with lack of knowledge, they still feel they could try indoctrination and use the mercenary forces which they resort to as security forces or police to commit crime against me, which they did illegally. It's called treason. Use the magistrate to try to send me to a psychiatric institution illegally. That's beyond the point. I'm going to give you some basic issues that is going on right now. Between 2007 to now, there's been over 20 treaties signed by your Prime Minister with different England, America, Germany, and other states to keep the citizens as slaves and to extort them under different revenue farms, claiming that they're doing good for you, but they're not. They're paying the extortion people, which is the different government agencies, and the United Nations, which is one of the biggest extortion agencies, to refrain from oppressing the state SVG or the Prime Minister by forcing him to submit to a fee of 30,000 US per year, or else they will find ways to come into his country and disrupt the natural life for the people by bringing different diseases. They bringing the plant disease, which while the other day you hear about moko and other disease they brought in to contaminate the fruits. So they use these methods now to scare you, to have you in fear and trick you with threat as to if it leads to a different issue and your people won't comply, we will then force to send in troops and whatever. These are just different means and methods of controlling you. So your prime ministers will willingly sell you out. And why do you have to pay $30,000 to be a member of some organization that does nothing for you? All they're doing is forcing you to comply with illegal and fraudulent policies that they create to extort your citizens and the revenue. Why you have to pay a United Nations for what? Are they a watchdog? You paying them $30,000 per year. So after 2009 when he failed to pay when they kick him out, now 2010 he pay up his fine and now he's back in it. And he's boasting about he's gonna be under the security force banner, you know, for the United Nations. Now you people don't even realize that your prime minister is selling you out in every way. He's not only selling you out to the Chinese, and you don't even understand that 80% of your revenue that is collected in tax goes to the owner of the colony, which is Great Britain. Because they own the colony, because they create the cooperative name called St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's their own. So it's their corporation. That means they own it. So as long as you want to carry that name and use the birth certificate, then you're just a property. And therefore you have to submit to the rules and regulation and the constitutional law, which doesn't apply to us Aboriginal. And they fail to uphold the treaty, and they fail to even obey the same constitution, because the constitution, regardless of how they've written it, it has laws in it to protect us, indigenous people, and our rights. And they know if they follow procedure in the right way, they will lose all battle against us, and they will be embarrassed, and the people will be waking up, and more people will join us to destroy this evil system that is called government. You people don't even have a clue how your politicians sign different treaties, especially the one to America in 2010 for women rights. You know what it means? You think they're giving women rights? We indigenous people already know balance is needed in the earth for everything to be fair. And so therefore we don't ill-treat nor abuse children nor women. So we don't need no one to come with a plaque over our head and tell us treat women good. So we don't need no woman rights garbage talk. What they portray as woman rights is telling you that she have the right to take abortion and then send a lot of drugs in your country and leave it over the counter freely to give away so that the female kill the baby. That's why the other day in SVG you had over the counter pill given to push up in your vagina so you could abort the children. All these genocide works is being done by these foreign cooperative states that is called government, the bigger agencies, the world power, so to speak. And they have these little Caribbean governments, states, which the politicians don't really care because they get paid to sell their own people out. Because it's all a slave system, and something came from bad can never be good. I just want to touch these few topics. I haven't even done. I can go deeper, but my phone time is kind of running out. So I'm only give you brief and short. I got the paperwork here in a different timing. I will even expose them about all the states who joined the United Nations and how they have to pay so that the United Nations don't extort them, illegally send viruses to the crops, to the people, and sending vaccination with bacteria and drugs and new diseases to develop to kill off your population. This is how these people works. And it's all controlled by the Israelites, mafias, which you would refer to as Illuminati. And if you don't understand, if you don't know, all government are members of the Illuminati. So don't be tied up and tricked by these imposters. And all government system is a slave colony. Don't matter where you try to run from it, you can't run from it. It's the reality. Wake up, people, before it's too late. We indigenous people are not going to give up the fight until